Hey, hello leaders, and welcome back to another version or another video version of Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So today we're going to be talking about this is episode 315. And this whole week, we're going to talk about mental health issues. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is, running to my challenge too. As we'll talk a little bit more about it during the week, but this is something that a lot of people struggle with as far as in a leadership role, because sometimes we just don't know how to lead if we have a mental health issue or some kind of disorder, or we don't know how to lead other people. So this week is going to be a little interesting, and I'm going to be kind of stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit too. So just know that as we cover this week. So I'm going to hit the record button and let's record this, and I'll give you a little bit more value at the end. Hello leaders, and welcome to a brand new week of Run to Your Leadership Challenges. Hey, this week I'm stepping out of my comfort zone a bit to talk about the challenge of mental health issues and mental health disorders that you may experience in the workplace. Now, I say this is a challenge because it can be a challenge unless we prepare ourselves by becoming aware of various mental health issues that we are bound to see in our workplace. I also say it's a challenge because it can be challenging as a leader to lead people with mental health issues, and or it can be challenged to lead if you have some mental health issues or mental health disorders. We're going to talk about specific mental health issues each day this week, but today is just going to be about awareness, and I'm going to point out some mental health issues and disorders to you that are very common and that you more than likely have in your workplace. As we begin talking about mental health issues, let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to be as truthful as possible, okay? So here's the question. What immediately comes to mind when I say mental health issues in the workplace? What type of mental health issue did you think about? Okay, now ask yourself, how much do you know about that type of mental health? Even deeper yet, does your organization have a program that teaches you to lead or manage that type of mental health issue? How do you lead your people with mental health issues and or disorders? Do you know who has mental health issues or disorders in your work center? Do you know who you're leading with these type of disorders? Now, it kind of gets really close to the HIPAA rules here, where we don't know a whole lot about our people, but at the same time, you're in a position as a leader to know your people better than a whole lot of other people. And if nothing else, you could identify typical behavior in your people and non-typical behavior. Now, the last question that I asked is, do you know who has a mental health issue, is probably the wild card, because it seems to be like taboo. Well, the last question I asked about, do you know who has mental health issues in your work center, is probably the wild card, because it seems like taboo to even ask that question. And you know what? That may lead to bigger challenges, but we'll save that for another week. So let's talk more about awareness, specifically what role you play in leading team members who are dealing with mental health issues and disorders. This whole week, we will talk about a different mental health issue that you may see in your organization each day. And I'm going to provide you with some data and some techniques on how you can best lead your people with specific mental health issues. Today, I simply want to point out a variety of the more common mental health issues and disorders that you may have experienced in your organization. So here we go. Here's a list of the mental health issues and disorders: depression, stress, anxiety, eating disorders, bipolar, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, mood disorders, psychotic disorders, impulse control and addiction disorders, personality disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, stress response syndromes, dissociative disorders, sexual and gender disorders, factitious disorders, somatic symptom disorders, tic disorders. And here are a few more adult mental disorders: alcohol and substance abuse, adult attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, panic disorder, postpartum depression, schizophrenia, seasonal affective disorder, and the list of disorders goes on and on. So, are you prepared to lead your team through these mental health issues and disorders? Being aware is the very first step, and I hope to make you think this week about how you can best lead your entire team. Mental health issues and disorders are nothing to run away from as you're leading. So let's run to this challenge together this week. Hey, that's it for today. Please join me tomorrow and each day this week as we'll talk about a specific common mental health issue or disorder in the workplace and offer some tips how you can lead your team in the most successful ways. By the way, if you enjoy this show, please take a minute or two and leave me a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen on. And I have to give a big shout out to all my Alexa listeners for making me #1 in many categories. I greatly appreciate your reviews and you for listening. Have a great day, and until tomorrow, run to your challenges. Okay, so that was extremely long, and I'm going to have a hard time editing that down. So the video version, you're going to get a lot more, but I seem to repeat myself a little bit. I got lost in my outline there at one time. So bottom line is, you know, a lot of times when you mention mental health issues or mental health disorders, if you're not aware of certain mental health issues and disorders, people have a tendency to shy away from them and become afraid and back down. And this week, I want to try to just point out some mental health disorders and issues that you probably have in your work center and you may not know about, but I just want to bring up that awareness and make everybody more aware and give you some tips to maybe how you can lead better through those situations. Now, I know this is a touchy topic for a lot of people, and that's okay because we run to our challenges here. And if you can offer me any further advice or better advice that I can share on the air, please, please, please drop me an email, give me a call. My number is 501-743-5614. That's my personal phone number. I will answer it. If I don't answer it, it's because I'm on a call or I'm in a meeting. So just leave a message and I'll call you back. Okay, and my email is Paul Grau, that's PaulGrau at currentleadershipcoaching.com. So this is, like I said, this is something that I have a challenge with, and I'll share later in the week. One of the disorders on the list I have, and I see a counselor about it. I see a counselor about twice a month, and it was probably 22 years before I got up enough nerve to go to my doctor and say, hey, I think I need to see somebody about this. Because a lot of times we can function with the disorder. It's just we can function a lot better if we get the help we need. All right. And sometimes that just means sitting down with a counselor and talking through it. So I'll share right now with you. I struggle with PTSD, and I was in the Air Force for 26 years, and my PTSD primarily comes from the Oklahoma City bombing. I was stationed in Oklahoma City at the time, and I was there digging through that rubble the day after it happened. And, it brings back a lot of memories. Like I can be there, I can smell it, and I can't really talk about this because my counselor says I can't or I shouldn't. But just to let you know that, sometimes something will happen when I'm working and it'll remind me of that. And it's all that I can do to turn that off and get out of that situation. So anyway, this is going to be a challenge for me, and I know it's a challenge for many people out there listening, but we're going to do it anyway. So until tomorrow, have a great day and run to your challenges.